Yeah. So is that what you
ready?
wanted? Yeah, yeah.
Hey, everybody, this is Ricky Grove. I'm here with my friend Tracy Harwood, Phil Rice, and Damien Valentine for the And Now for Something Completely Machinima podcast for February 2003. We're in our third season. Yay! And we're looking at films for the week. This week, we've got an interesting choice from Damien called Half-Life 3 Honest Game Trailers. I liked it a lot. Where did you find it, Damien?
Well, actually, I follow Honest Trailers because there's two channels. There's Screen Junkies and then there's this one. And what they do is that every week they'll review a TV show or a movie, usually movies, but sometimes TV shows. And then the other channel does video games, and they'll do an honest trailer. So if they like it, they'll still try and pick out some of the issues with it, but generally they'll praise it. Or if it's something really awful, then they'll tear it to pieces. But it's done honestly and fairly. Like they won't just destroy something for the sake of it. So I've been following it, and they do real stuff, but occasionally they will do if there's like something that hasn't been released or has been speculated about and is massively overhyped in a way that it can never possibly live up to those expectations.
Right.
They will do what their honest trailer would probably be like if once that thing actually gets released.
Yes, yes.
So
why did you pick the Half-Life 3 one? Because they've got a lot of them on there. What made you like this one?
Well, this one, I was editing the videos from last month, and there's a bit where Phil was talking about talking to his son about Half-Life 3, and that reminded me of this honest trailer, and I thought that's going to be my pick. So I went back and watched it. Yeah, this is going to be a good pick. So I went back, found it, and thought, yeah, it still holds up. So I thought I hoped it would entertain all of you and our listeners. So what did you think?
Oh, I liked it. It was very funny. It harkens back to the early spirit of satire and sort of rambunctious filmmaking that the early machinima filmmakers made. It's a very witty use of game footage, I thought, and live video. The combination was perfect. The pacing was just right. The humor sometimes dips into a little eye-rolling stage. I mean, the Cocculus Rift joke was a bit over the top, but then again, the whole style that they're doing it in was really, it fit, but it was a little eye-rolling. It was fun. I think even people who don't who don't know anything about Half-Life would enjoy the humor in it. My only issue with the film was that I think they should have used a live voice actor instead of a text to speech, because a live voice actor can use inflection and timing better than text to speech. And comedy in particular relies on really good timing to make funny jokes. So even though it was very funny, I think a live actor would have made it even funnier. So that's just my observation. I enjoyed it. It was really a very pleasant experience and fun to watch.
Do you think they did use text to speech?
Sounds like it to me, because there were intonations that were repeated exactly in the.
But
it's a live actor.
7 years ago.
It is a live actor because they did one of the honest trailers. They did a game, but where he did a voice in the game as well. So as a joke, he did the honest trailer in his game character voice rather than his epic trailer voice.
Well, excuse me, I'm wrong. I wish that the actor had a little bit better timing on and would have varied their voice a little bit, because it came off to me like text to speech.
Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, I found the narrated trailer like that is from the I don't know what the old days are. I'm dating myself here, but there was that guy, whatever his name was, that voice actor that was known as the movie trailer voice and had that real deep intonation and would do these. I kind of cringed when I saw the title of this, because I've had some exposure to some channels on YouTube that do honest movie trailers, quote unquote honest movie trailers, and there's a fine line between satire and bitter cynicism. And these YouTube, they're basically like, if it's a review of a James Cameron movie, then it feels like a personal attack on James Cameron. Like, it might as well just say you are an idiot, So there's this it's very unpleasant, and I like dark humor and I like sarcasm and satire, obviously, but I don't like those movie trailers, the honest trailers, because it feels like, okay, somebody's got like a personal,
they're mean-spirited
grudge. Yeah, like it's somebody who maybe got burned in Hollywood or something, and that's not fun. I mean, some of what they say ends up being funny. So I saw this and I thought, oh no, I just, because I just don't personally enjoy that. This wasn't the spirit of that at all, though. This was like Ricky said, it was good old-fashioned satire. It's the tone that I wish that those YouTube channels that do the movie trailers, it's what I wish they had, which is it's good-natured ribbing.
Yep, it's irreverent. And witty.
Yeah. And it's something that, it's something that if the guys at Valve don't laugh at it, it's because they've got a problem, not because it really is nasty,
Yes, exactly.
So it's not impossible they wouldn't laugh, but if they do, it's like, come on, man. So yeah, I loved it. And very, I don't know, at both times a throwback in the style, but also, borrowing from all these different types of footage. That really is something that's a lot harder to do back then, and now in the age of memes, it's very easy to, relatively easy to do that. To do it well still requires skill, the choices of what to use and when and all that. So, and this is very skillfully done, very, very enjoyable. And if you've been following, I think especially for someone older like me and frankly us, who have been following Half-Life since the early days in some degree, and Valve, it plays into that sense of fun. And we've seen other games, of course, that, when it's done, release dates. And there's still some that are out there like this. Yeah, it's fun.
I love their use of live video, intermixed with game footage. There's sometimes the editing was so good that it was a joke itself. It was a humorous statement itself.
Sure.
Well, shall I tell you what I thought then?
Okay.
Well, inevitably you will. So.
Yeah, well, okay. I did not know too much about honest game trailers. And what's more, I didn't even know they'd been Emmy nominated, which they apparently have been. My understanding is that voice is somebody, is it John Bailey? Somebody called John?
Joe Bailey.
Joe Bailey. John Bailey. Whatever. And he's got
Bailey's
that kind
right anyway.
He's got that kind of James Earl Jones sort of deep, whatever. He does quite a lot of these, I think, as I understand it. But I think really this is where I show my age, because this level of nerdiness is just something I've never really followed. Absolutely honest with you. And I have to say, I found the laddish behavior crude and quite outdated. So that bit to me, given it's 7 years old, that hasn't stood up so well as some of the other stuff.
I get it.
But the editing is clearly very well done. It's impressive. I'm not sure if they could have actually included any more cultural classics in there than they actually did in that 4 minutes. I didn't see Jaws in there, did you?
No. But they missed that opportunity.
Yeah, I think that was a big one that they missed out. So yeah, I thought that was.
And there's a Jaws-like character in Half-Life 2, so they could have done it.
They could have done it, but maybe I missed it. I mean, it was all very bang, 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 bang. Very, very kind of quick. And then I was thinking, why on earth did you pick something 7 years old, Damien? Do you know something about Half-Life 3 that we don't? That's what I was going. And then I was thinking, you know what? I bet what you've seen is that little video that came out last year, that Video Game Leaks one, where it kind of implied that there might be another attempt to release Half-Life 3.
I did see about that.
You did. I thought you had. But I don't know if you're aware also that Valve's assets about a week ago, every asset they created from about 2016
Yep.
was leaked last week.
Yep.
And that's as we recorded, and this is at the end of January. But according to what I've seen, there's absolutely zero Half-Life 3 assets that appear to have been leaked. So my guess is probably there isn't a Half-Life 3 out there, but I dare say over the coming weeks, months, probably folks are going to be going through all of that sort of content with a toothpick, and we'll probably have some
We'll
more
find
updates.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of quite interesting, and I wasn't really quite sure why you might have picked something of this age, other than maybe you knew something that we kind of didn't.
My understanding about the leak of all the content was it was Valve do outsourcing for when the games are ported to other platforms, because they release them for PC and then they get released on consoles and so on. So the leak came from that material which they put out for outsourcing. If they're going to be doing a Half-Life 3 or any other 3 title, which has obviously not been announced yet, that would be they wouldn't be including any of that content with that, because they're going to keep it very close to their chest. So that's why there are no hints there. It doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't mean it is happening. That's just the way it would probably be.
Yeah. Well, also the date of the leak, I think 2016. But then I was thinking, and also reflecting on some of the comments on this particular video. I mean, one of them really made me laugh out loud, actually. Half-Life 3 is so good that it doesn't even need to be a real game in order to have an honest trailer. I thought that was brilliant.
Yes.
But like you said, Ricky, the astonishing level of hype around these games where folks have been waiting for 20 years to play it. I mean, that's just kind of astonishing, isn't it? But then, Half-Life Alyx did come out around 2020, right? And that would probably be Half-Life 3, would it? Maybe?
Well, it doesn't complete. See, the additional problem with the Half-Life 3 kerfluffle and angst is that it had a story arc, and the end of Half-Life 2 had a cliffhanger. And with a cliffhanger, it always leaves the expectation that they're going to finish out the story, and they didn't. So, in addition to not having a third game with third game technology, there's a story breakage there that everybody wants to see resolved.
I think that's more significant than there just not being a new game in the Half-Life world. It's that unfinished story. And it's a credit to their storytelling in the first and especially second episodes. It's an exceptional, wonderfully done world building that they did. And there's this story arc, and it's like
it's kind of a twist.
2/3 of the way there. It's like, come on,
It's a little twist too, because as I recall in the game, you actually feel like you're getting to escape, that you're going to escape like you do in Half-Life, the part 1 Half-Life 2, but instead there's a twist. I won't say what it is, but something tragic happens and then you're left there. And so it created a huge expectation in gamers, and that's part of the thing. And I think as you point out, Phil, it's a testament to their storytelling, because it is so resonant in people's imaginations that they want to know what happened to these characters.
Even after all this time.
Emotionally, they want to know what happened to these characters. It would be like Victor Hugo writing 3/4 of Les Miserables, or Gone with the Wind cutting off in the 3/4 mark. People were just want to know what
Star Wars. George Lucas stops making Star Wars movies at Empire Strikes Back.
There you go. There you go.
What?
Right
Can you imagine? What? 20 years go by.
And then all hell breaks loose, and somebody called Anomide finds something very bizarre in some little weird area.
There you go.
Yeah. And anyway, interesting. Do you know what? I did actually look up who these guys were, Fandom Games. I don't know if you're familiar with Fandom Games.
No.
Founded in 2004 by Jimmy Wales of Wikipedia infamy. with somebody called Angela Beasley Starling, who was a British web entrepreneur. And it was kind of a site that was originally based on the Wiki technology. And it basically started out with about 1,500 pages from a group of fans, mainly Star Wars, I think. So I don't know if you're familiar with that, Damien.
I probably am, but I didn't make the connection until just now.
Yeah, well, apparently it now encompasses over 40 million content pages in
Oh my God.
80 languages on 250,000 wikis.
Wow,
and it includes information about every fictional universe ever created, according to them.
Golly.
So if you are a fan and you're interested in game lore and you want to talk to others or just learn about that fictional world, that's the place to go. Apparently.
They also have some wonderful game trailers for other games on their YouTube channel, which is where we saw this one. So check them out. They all have that same irreverent, very funny, and highly crafted satirical style to them.
Yeah. I wanted to pick this one because it's a fictional, at the moment, game, rather than picking one that's about a real game.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out something about our criticism of this. We've gotten some comments recently, both mostly pro, but some con ones too, about what our comments and criticism in this. And in this particular episode, we've talked about a film and we all like it, right? But we all have different ideas about what makes it good. And in particular, Tracy pointed out that there were some problems with the age of the nerdy quality of humor that didn't appeal to her. Now, we don't have any sponsors for this show. Nobody pays us to do advertising. We do this purely out of the pleasure and joy of doing it and finding films and talking about it. So we're honest in our criticism. Now, we obviously try not to be mean-spirited. I mean, Phil was pointing out that problem with satirical pieces that are just mean and it seems like a personal attack. We never try to do that. That's not our point. But we are honest and we are straightforward and sometimes we're blunt about it. And I'd like to point out that our criticism is balanced in a sense that we have 4 different people talking about about it from a different point of view. So if there's a problem, we argue about it. Here I am at the beginning of this complaining about it, thinking that this was a text to speech when it wasn't. And the 3 of you pointed out it wasn't. And sorry, I messed that up. So we have the ability to be able to respond to each other's criticism and test it in a debate style format. So if you feel somehow that you're not being appreciated in our episodes about the film, I'm sorry for you, because criticism is, in the way we do it, you take away what you can use, and you don't pay attention to what doesn't make any meaning to you. So, do you guys have any thoughts about our criticism on this show and responses to it?
Someone once asked me how to best handle internet criticism, because they've seen that I get a lot of it on my Heir to the Empire videos. And I say, well, there's 3 kinds of criticism you're going to get over the internet. The first one is people will say, this is great, really loved it. Just praise. That's always very nice to hear. Then the next one is, this is great, but I don't know, maybe the music was a little bit too loud here. But otherwise, I've really enjoyed it. And you can look at that and think, maybe it was a bit too loud. So the next time you can pay a bit more attention to the volume of the music and learn from it. And then the third kind is people who will deliberately go out of the way and say, this is the worst thing they've ever seen in their life. And they'll just tear it to pieces. When you get that, you either laugh at it or you ignore it. Because it serves no purpose.
It serves no purpose, right? Exactly.
And I'm relieved, Damien, because I thought what you were gonna say is, oh, well, maybe I'll pay a little more attention next time. Is this the worst thing that's ever been made on the internet?
And how do I make it worse?
I need to really.
How do I bring it down even further than it is already? No. And I think what we do is in the middle. It's like we'll like it. we praise what we like, and if there's something like maybe the sound isn't quite right, the music's too loud, like I just said, we'll say that the music was a little bit too loud in this bit, and it's hard to hear what the characters are saying, and that's just a reality of the film. It happens. Lots of people make mistakes like that. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just a learning experience, and learn from it. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And
apply that.
inevitably, a criticism is an opinion. But the difference is that our opinions are informed opinions, because not only do we know about this medium and we know about film and machinima, but three of us have been practicing it for over 2 decades. And Tracy has been writing about it critically for over 2 decades. So we have an informed opinion as opposed to just 4 people off the street who go, "Oh yeah, that was really funny, calculus." It's so our opinions have weight,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
I think it's even more than that too. I think, Damien, that it's possible that what we're doing, and frankly, there's other shows with this type of format that are out there on other topics. The reason I don't think we fall into that simple scale of unqualified praise, but with some ideas and go F yourself. I don't think we're on that scale, because this is a discussion.
True.
This
Yeah.
is 4 people who have watched a lot of films in this genre,
There you go.
talking about your film.
Yeah.
And say the same way we would if the 4 of us got together over at Tracy's house and we're sitting in her living room and having tea and talking about, hey, did you guys watch such and such? And we just talk about it.
Yep.
So it's hard to, unless the 4 people that are getting together having tea talking about your movie are like really bitter, angry people who are just out to destroy things. And if you get that impression from watching our show, that I don't know what you're watching, because that's not who we are. It's not what we're out to do. We love talking about these films, even films that aren't our favorites. We just love talking about them. And part of that talking about them is things I liked about it and things that I wish they had done differently, and all of that, So I think that makes it different, because as Ricky pointed out, there's really not any opinion that can get expressed in this form like a YouTube comment would, that doesn't get challenged, that doesn't get evaluated by friends and colleagues immediately. Like you can't just throw something out there. I guess you could just say, I just didn't like it and I don't want to talk about it. But that sucks. That show would suck if that's what we did,
Yeah.
So Ricky will say something and he'll have a strong opinion on something, and maybe Tracy has a different opinion, and then it sparks ideas by me and Damien, and it's a wonderful thing. So I think
I love that we come at it from so many different directions.
It's a discussion about the film, and that's good. And goodness gracious, what do you think discussions are? Discussions aren't all, let's all just make a concerted effort to pat this complete stranger on the back who made this. We don't know you, So that gives, I think that's a plus, that we don't generally know you when we're reviewing your film. It means that we're not out to get you. And we have no incentive to lie to you about what we think you've done wrong or right. Like when my son does a performance at school, plays piano, and he comes up and asks me, how did I do? It's like, no matter what answer I give him, it's his dad's saying something, so I can be as honest as I want, but in his head, it's always going to be, would he really tell me if I stunk? The answer, by the way, son, if you listen to the show, is yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would tell you if you stunk.
And he would never listen to you.
It would be the most loving thing that I could do.
I'm going to censor that bit when I edit this.
Yeah.
The answer, son, is
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I would encourage anyone to look at it that way. That the positive here is that hey, people are actually having a conversation about your film. How often do you really get to observe that on the internet?
Yes.
If you're releasing something to an internet crowd, all you get are these little pot shot comments that are either completely unqualified and unhelpful praise, that's kind of like eating an M&M. It's like, ooh, that was tasty. Still hungry. And then there's, the useful stuff, like Damien said, that's in the middle of the sandwich. And then there's the people who it's like, I'm glad these people don't know where I live, because it sounds like they would like to hurt me. This isn't any of those things. This is a good, I hope, helpful conversation. We also, as experienced as we are, none of us are like inflated with our own egos or think that we are.
I am a little bit. I'm
big
sorry.
wigs. Ricky,
for yourself.
Of course, Ricky was on Quantum Leap. You can't do that without
Babylon 5.
And Point Break.
Yeah.
And he was Red Eric.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Anyway, seriously though, I think if you listen to the show, you'll find, I hope, that we're for people who are confident in our opinions, confident in what we know, but we also know that we're not infallible.
We have no agenda either.
That's why this discussion is good.
Yeah.
Because every single one of us has been right on this show, and every single one of us has been wrong about something. Or just, maybe it's not even right and wrong. It's just has the opinion that others agree with or doesn't. So, and it's good. It's good.
Thank you. Good comments, Phil. Tracy?
I completely agree with all of what you said. I think we have a healthy discussion about films that we're enjoying. I think we all come at this from, like I said, from very different perspectives. We know what good criticism is, I think, and I think certainly what I would like to sort of think that we do is give enough feedback for people to be able to say, yeah, that needs to be tweaked a little, maybe in that direction, or to know why we really like it, and from to learn from that sort of side of things as well. But I will just say one thing, irrespective of what other people think, I actually learned so much from what you guys all comment as well. I mean, it's really good fun. Me too. So I don't, I'm not really that bothered what other people think, if I'm honest. I really enjoy the discussion, and being able to talk about these films to folks that really know what they're talking about is an absolute treat for me.
Yeah. I come away from our episodes, our sessions sometimes so psyched and interested. I do more research, I write and stuff, because it stimulates my imagination and my thinking.
It energizes me as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the films that the three of you pick, when I watch them, I try and look at them and think, is there something I can learn from this I can apply to my own filmmaking as well? Because I may not have, on my own, I may not have ever found some of these films. So, you guys are helping me as well on that level.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I would never have found the films that you guys pick. I wouldn't have even looked for them. So that's what I appreciate, the fact that we all come at it from very different perspectives. And, we've all been judges on film festivals for years as well, haven't we? The opportunity to sort of continue that kind of, professional criticism, I think is actually really, an interesting development cycle. I mean, I was the organizer of an event in 2007. I know you guys were involved in the early Machinima film festivals from 2002 onwards, I think.
Yeah, Machinima Expo.
And the Expo, that went into the early 2010s. I mean, we've got a long history with this stuff. It's good fun.
Yep. Good. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys talking about what we do. And also, listeners and watchers, if you have some ideas about the film that we have just reviewed, which I think was called Half-Life 3 Honest Game Trailers, Damien picked it. If you have some thoughts about that, or you'd like to share with us, or you've made the film and you want to talk about it, check with us at talk@completelymachinima.com. Also, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but Tracy has been really doing a bang-up job with our blog at completelymachinima.com. She's been adding lots of interesting posts on AI development. You'll find stuff about the lawsuit that was recently filed on behalf of 3 artists against the AI-generated Stable Diffusion, and a couple other places you'll find stuff about that. lots of really, really interesting stuff. So it's a very rich place to go. So check out the blog at completelycinema.com. Any last comments anybody has?
Not for me.
Nope.
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 All right. Well, thanks a lot for watching this time. This will be the second week of February. We'll come back next week with another film. So we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.